folks, welcome to BullDawg Barbecue. Today we're going to do a review on this Pit Boss Pro Series pellet smoker, which is the Series 4. It's brand new for 2021, so you guys need to give this a watch. We want to give thanks to our firefighters, police officers, service members. Hey, go out there and shake their hands and thank them for their service. So let's move on to the show. Here we go. Alright, here we go. This is a Pit Boss Series 4 Pro Series. We have a little different than the others. We only have 4 racks, but we do have a grease tray and our water tray. Now the difference from the other ones, this one has a sealed fire pot. It is actually in this little drawer. The chips fall down into this drawer. Then they're ignited, and it's also where you catch your ash. All right, on the back, here's your hopper levels. Holds 68 pounds of pellets. Then down here in the back, we have the grease tray, and of course your clean out if you want to change pellets. What kind of pellets? They did put a bigger bar on it, which I like. The control panel is no longer down on the bottom. It's over here. And it shows your fan, your auger, and your igniter. The temperature, 2 different probes, which are underneath. And then you have your knob to turn your temperatures up and all that kind of stuff. Right now we're just priming it. Fahrenheit and Celsius. And then you've got a recipe button, which I have not figured out yet, so don't get me on that one. All right, it's firing up now. It also is Wi-Fi and Bluetooth capable, and once it gets fired up, I can't show you that because I'm on the phone that it's on, so I'll show you a screenshot. So let me get it fired up and get her rolling, and we'll be back. We got our smoker. What we did is we just turned it on, and it goes into an automatic cycle. You're supposed to leave the door open. All right, it's starting to heat. It's starting to smoke. Now, we can close the door up, and what this does is it does its own automatic heating cycle, and it will run up to 350 degrees. As you can tell, it's cold out here. We had snow and sleet and everything else last night. But it's 47 degrees in there, so it's going to work its way up to 350. It takes about 20 minutes, and it'll smoke pretty good. And then once that's done, you can start cooking your meat. But first thing is to make sure you got plenty of pellets in here. This bad boy here, like I said, this is the Pit Boss Pro Series 4. It's a brand new 2021. It will literally hold 68 pounds of pellets. I put a 40-pound bag in there, and it's barely half full. We did a cook on it last night, and it was awesome. The smoke ring was beautiful. I'll show you pictures of that. But she's starting to smoke now. And I apologize. I did not put up a picture when I was editing my video. So you can go to the beef chuck tender video, which was 2 weeks ago, 2 videos back, and you can see the smoke ring on that thing. It was awesome. So give that a look. All right, back to the show. So let's give it a little time, let it do its thing, and we'll come back. I like the bigger wheels on this one compared to the other. Buddy of mine's got the Pit Boss 5, and this has got the bigger wheel casters on it. I love them. The only thing about this one, when I bought it, it came together, or when I got it, it came together, and I don't like this door. But now this door does not come off like the Pit Boss 5s. You have to unscrew it. The other one, all you had to do was lift the door off. This one, you actually have to take the screws out. It does not come apart. But she's running good. She's got a little smoke coming out of her. Let's open up our vent just a little. I got it completely closed. You can unscrew your vent there. All right, let's let her do her thing. The only thing I've been having a problem with so far is I'm not happy with the Wi-Fi part of it, because it is Wi-Fi. The only problem with that is that I could not get it. I used it for a while, and then after a while, I could not get it to work at all. But luckily, where I sit at, I can sit here and I can actually see. Let's see if I can zoom you in here. You won't be able to see it, but I can actually see it and read the actual unit out there. It's really not a good picture. Let's see if I can get you in a little closer here. There we go. See, I can actually see it from my chair. So the app is not really a big deal, but I do not like the fact that it doesn't work right. It would not log on at all. But like I said, you can actually see a little bit of there. So let's let her heat up, and then we'll get back with you here in a little bit. I'll even show you a screenshot of the app on the phone. It's a nice looking app. I just couldn't get it to log on in the middle of the cook. It just quit working. It just refused to log on. So they may have a bug, or maybe I was doing something wrong. They give you a book. Let's zoom you back out here. They give you a book, and it is literally tells you how to put it together and how to start it and how to stop it. And they give you a few recipes, but this book is not, it literally changes language like a quarter of the way in. And it's just a repeat of everything you just did in the front of the book. So it's a big book, but it's literally not much information in there that I can really, it tells you how to start it, tells you how to stop it, and a few recipes. That's just pretty much about it. That's all there is to it. So, like I said, let's let her get her fired up here. She's up to 75 now, so it's rising pretty quick. But you have to let it go through this cycle, because if you don't, what happens, let me put you back down here. What happens is, like last night, we cooked really a scrap piece of meat. It was what's they call a beef chuck tender. Tough piece of meat. We took it, cooked it for a while to get the smoke on it. Once we got the smoke, I choked myself. Once we got the smoke on it, we took and put it in a pan of water and braised it, and it turned out great. The only problem I was having is my temperature was not very good. Yeah, I had it set for 250, and it was barely 220, and it just wouldn't come up. I didn't go through the startup cycle like I was supposed to, so there wasn't enough chips to make the temperature like it was supposed to be. It wasn't operating properly, and we didn't figure that out until halfway through. And by that time, it was too late to shut it down and restart it, go back through the procedure. So when you get these things, read the books, go through the startup procedure like it says. It takes about 20 minutes. And once it gets to 350, then you can do whatever you want with it. You can drop it back down, you can raise it up, whatever. We're going to try pizza one night this week. But it is, let me turn her off. Well, geez. There we go. Like I said, it rises pretty quickly. It's 87 now. And it's rising really quick. But you have to let it get through that process so it's got enough chips in that pan down there in order to make it burn at the proper temperature. Otherwise, it's just trying to fight to keep up. One thing I did notice about this one, I'm comparing it to the Pit Boss 5 because I don't know of any other ones. I've never used any of the other Pit Bosses. But the Pit Boss 5 is really, really well insulated. And you touch the side of it, and it's not hot at all. But as you've seen in the video, in the back of this and on the sides, there are smoke ports that let the smoke come up to each level of your cooking space. Well, because of those, they lost some of the insulation in it in order to keep the cabinet the same size, because this cabinet is exactly the same size as the 5. The only difference is you have 4 racks instead of 5, which is great because you got more distance in between the racks. On the 5, you had to take racks out because they were just too close together. I mean, unless you were cooking something really, really thin, it wouldn't fit on there. But the sidewalls on this are hot. You know, the 5, it's just the door. This one, the sidewalls are hot. So if you're going to take, like I've got a magnetic probes, it's got 2 probes on it, but if you're going to use another one, and I tested it last night, they were right together, temperature-wise. They were like a degree off from each other. And my complaint with Pit Boss, you only put 1 probe in the smoker. You got 2 smoke probe ports, but you only put 1 probe in the box. What the hell? I thought maybe I lost one. I went back and looked at the book. No, you only get 1. What the hell, Pit Boss? From the Pit Boss probe and my probes, they were like 1 degree off. So they really work good. But you have to take that magnetic probe set that I've got and attach it to the hopper. You cannot attach it to the actual body of the smoker, because if you do, it gets so hot it may melt it. So I put it back there on the back, and it worked fine. Cords are just barely long enough to do it that way, but it does work. Like I said, we did the cook on it last night. I was extremely happy with it. It did. The meat turned out amazing. The only problem I had, and this is, I'm trying to rectify that by starting it up today and kind of messing around with it a little bit, is that the temperature would not stay where I put it. When I first fired it up to do the burn off, buddy, she stayed right there. It was on 350, and buddy, it stayed on 350 for an hour. It never moved. A lot of your smokers will go 360 or 340. I mean, they'll 10 degrees either way. This one, no, buddy. This sucker was on it and stayed there. Last night, because I didn't go through the proper startup procedures, I think I had it messed up to where it couldn't catch up. So what it did is, like I said, I was 10 or 15 degrees below on the entire smoke. And I think that's because I didn't start it properly, because it was not that cold. It was 35 degrees, but it should have been able to keep up with that. I think it was just the startup. So that's what we're working on today, and see if we can make sure that's properly done, because I want to give you a proper review on this. I don't want to just throw up something, say, oh, I like it, and be done with it. No, I don't want to do that. You know, with my shows, I try to tell you guys that I'm honest with you. I won't feed you a line of crap. I just got this, and I really want to work on it and make sure it's right. But I want to give you all a good review before you go buy this thing. As with all these Pit Boss smokers, you guys have to understand that these are not electric smokers. The only thing electric on it is the main control panel and the fan and the auger. The heat is actually generated from the pellets. It's not like the one I have down here at the other end of the deck. It is an electric. It heats with electric and then just burns the chips to make smoke. I mean, the actual heat comes from the electric, not from the pellets. This one is pellets. You run out of pellets, this thing quits. The other one, you run out of pellets, your food's still going to cook, just like it was in the oven. It just ain't going to have any smoke. So remember that when you go to buy a smoker. Make sure you know what you're getting. Don't just jump on one because you like the way it looks. Make sure that you're going to know that when you burn this, you have to have like 20 or 40 pounds of pellets to cook food. Where the other one, if you want a little bit of smoke, you get one of them little 5-pound bags, and you might use it up in the smoke. You might not. You know, supposedly it'll smoke for 8 hours, but nah, I'm not buying that crap. But like I said, just make sure you know. Do your investigations on these. And I'm probably going to be one of the first ones on this smoker because it is very new. Basically came out last month. So let's get her warmed up. She's up to 123, and we'll check back with you in a few. All right. It took it a while because it's so cold out here. I think I'm going to get a welder's blanket and put over this to keep it, because this is hot, to keep that heat in. But it did finally reach 350. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's pretty messed up there, but it finally made it to 350. Now I'm going to turn it down to 225 and see if I can get it to stay there. All right. She's, like I said, it's smoking, but you really can't see it because of it being such a clean smoke. That Pit Boss pellets is really good. I mean, the smoke inside the open door, you can see it, but it doesn't come out the stack like most of them do. So let's give it a little while and see if the temperature comes down, and see if I can get it to 225 and get it to stay there. And it's 38 degrees outside, and it's getting kind of dark over there. We have some rain probably for about 15 minutes coming in. It'll probably be here in about 15 or 20 minutes, according to the radar. And then we get the snow, and they're saying 1 to 3 inches. So we'll see what happens, but the temperature is dropping. Like I said, it was like almost 50, and now it's 38, 37, something like that when I walked out here. So we'll see, but we'll finish the review on this as soon as we can get it down. I'm gonna let it, like I said, let it drop down to 225, and then we will see if it stays there. Well, when it got to 350, the app that's on my phone sent me a message letting me know. It beeped and said, you know, the smoker has reached your temperature, desired temperature. So when it gets down to 225, it should do the same thing. I actually hooked the app to the Wi-Fi, so I want to try and see if I leave the area over 30 feet, if it still works. Instead of working on Bluetooth, it works on my Wi-Fi. So we'll see about that in a little bit. So right now, I'm standing here. You can tell by the camera I'm shaking. It's cold, and I'm not dressed for outdoors. So I'm going back in. We'll be back with you in a little bit. Okay, here we go. Let's check this thing out. It's starting to rain, so I'm going to get it over here. It's starting to actually sleet a little bit. We're going to move it over here out of the rain. And we are going to put up here, look, 225 on the nose. It's been there about 30 minutes. All right, now we're going to shut her down. And what I need to do is the start button, hold it for 3 seconds, and it goes into shut off mode. Okay, do not unplug it. Leave it plugged in until it is done. When the fan shuts off, then you can unplug it. The shutdown light will go out, and then you can unplug it. So we're going to let her do its thing. Once the fan quits, we're going to open the door and get her cooled down real good. Like I said, it's not real hot, but it is a little warm. I don't know that I'd want to stick anything on a regular basis. Open the vent here and let it all get out. But we're going to shut her down and get her covered up before we get all the snow we're supposed to get. Like I said, you can see it's starting to precipitate. So let's get her taken care of. But I would definitely recommend this 100%. I got the app actually hooked up to the Wi-Fi now, and it's working great. So there it is. And this one is going on Facebook Marketplace for sale. If you're interested, cover, smoker, everything, $250. It's $349 plus, I think it was like $40 for the cover. So you're looking at roughly $400. I'll let her go for $250. Been used about 6 times. Look for it on Marketplace. Okay, it's kicked out of its shutdown mode, but you could probably put a cover over it, but it's still got a little bit of heat coming out of here. So I'm going to open this door And I'm just going to leave it open for about 5 or 10 minutes. Let it completely cool down. I think I'm going to go get some vinegar and see if I can clean that window real quick. We're going to take this out of here. We used it last night. All right, we'll be back. One other thing I wanted to touch at. I love the new latch. Instead of that other funky one that they had on there. It makes it so much easier. We're going to get her covered back up now. Smoker, $3.99 at Lowe's. You check with them. They may have one that's already put together. You don't even have to mess with it like I did. Cover is actually the cover that goes on the 5, the Pro Series 5, and it fits this perfectly. So they probably will not come out with one that actually goes on this because the 5 fits it perfectly because it's the same size cabinet. So we're going to get this covered back up and we're done for the day. So go out and get you one of these. They're a lot of fun. If you love cooking, it's got a lot of space in it. Hell, I could probably cook 8 or 10 racks of ribs in here. So till next time, I'm BullDawg. See ya. Hey, before BullDawg lets you run away there, I wanted to touch on that Wi-Fi again. After I got it set up on my phone, I went to my neighbor's house, which is like I don't know, 300 or 400 yards up the road, and it worked perfect from up there. We actually sat and watched it while we were doing some security cameras, so it worked perfect. The only problem that I had with it that I'm still to this day have not rectified, and this was filmed like 3-4 weeks ago, back when it snowed. It's starting to warm up now. It's 70 degrees outside. But when you first start it up in the smoke pattern, it's supposed to go to 350. I have yet to get it to go to 350 on its own. It stops at 130, and then you turn it up from there. Works perfect after that, but it's supposed to go to 350, but it does not. That's what the book says is 350. So I don't know if that's a glitch or if it's still something that I'm doing wrong. But like I said, the meat, beautiful smoke ring. Like I said, you can go back and look. I'll have a pulled pork coming up pretty soon. A couple other items that are going to be on the market here pretty soon that we're going to show up. Smoke ring is beautiful. Like I said, no billowing smoke coming out the top. Just puts the smoke on the meat. It doesn't waste it. So that was the beef chuck tender. Again, that was a couple of weeks ago. So give that a check for the smoke ring. And hey, if you got the money and you really like to smoke, put you some money into these things and give it a shot. I love mine. I wouldn't trade it in for nothing. And the one I got before, the charbroil, I've already traded it in. So check the thing out. Watch your reviews. Get what you're going to use it for. Make sure it's what you want. Like I said, I ended up with about 300 and it was $3.99 plus 40 for the thing. So you're looking at $350 or $450, but it'll last you. It should last you forever. I can't see any reason why, unless you're just abusive on it. Leave it out in the rain or something. I think you'll enjoy it. So give it a shot, and till next time, like the guy said, I'm BullDawg. See you.